Hey, what's up, manhwa fans? Welcome back to our channel. If you're into stories where the villain steals the show and flips the script on the hero, you're in for a treat. Today, we're breaking down I Am the Fated Villain, a mind-blowing tale where the main character is the ultimate bad guy, and trust me, it's packed with twists, power plays, and epic betrayals. This arc is set in the lower realm, and it's all about destiny, luck stealing, and outsmarting fate. No spoilers yet. Let's dive right in. The story kicks off with a scene of a poor cheeky teenager getting a serious tongue lashing. Today's the day the Holy Son of Taishian is officially being instated as the Holy Son in the main hall. So, there's no room for a puny inner sect disciple like you to cause trouble. Get lost. The teenager stood there listening to the scolding, then got pissed and fired back. Is this all the so-called Taishian Holy Land in the 6 great holy lands of the Eastern Wilderness is capable of? Bullying the weak, sucking up to the powerful, and never once asking the Holy Maiden for her opinion. You just force her to marry some guy she's never even met. Up in the main hall was the Holy Maiden of the Taishian Holy Land, and all she could do was close her eyes and listen without arguing back. Poor thing. The teenager got even more worked up as he continued. If you don't give her justice today, then I don't need my identity as a Taishian Holy Land disciple anymore. The crowd listening to the teenager's outburst was completely shocked. Whispers started to spread. Is this Ichin guy crazy? Daring to say such things in front of the main hall. Even though his talent isn't bad, if he angers the higher-ups up there, I'm afraid our Taishian Holy Land will also bear the consequences. The Holy Lord sitting above was also annoyed and asked, Ichin, is that right? I remember you. You went through hundreds of battles to get here from Qingtian. Came from a small place and then joined our Taishian Holy Land. Now you're telling me you want to give up your identity as an inner sect disciple of the Taishian Holy Land. As soon as he finished speaking, the Holy Lord squeezed the armrest of his stone chair tightly. The pressure release shot forward, pushing Ichin back, and the other disciples were also affected, struggling to withstand it. Seeing the old Saint Master totally freaking out, the young man lowered his voice. I'm just speaking up for the Saintess. I can't just stand by and watch her being pushed into a fire pit. Holy Son Chu Xian standing above barked upon hearing this. You cocky punk, how dare you say such disrespectful things to young master? Who are you calling a fire pit? The Saintess then hesitantly turned to him and softly called out, Gu, young master Gu. Appearing before everyone was a handsome young man pretending to be asleep. Suddenly, his hand moved, picking up the teacup. In his head, he thought, me, a transmigrator. When I woke up, I found myself in this tangled mess and this identity. Guchanga looks like I'm the villain. According to the plot, I'm just a stepping stone. The kind who constantly gets face slapped. Damn it. Luckily, transmigration comes with a system that no one else knows. System Panel. Character Introduction. Guchanga. Identity. Direct disciple of Dao Heaven Immortal Palace. Bloodline Physique. Demonic Heart Dao Bone. Cultivation Realm. Saint Master Peak. Cultivation Methods and Divine Abilities. Dao Heaven Heavenly Classic. Transformation of Myriad Demons. Heaven Devouring Demonic Art. Heavenly Destiny Points. 50 Luck Points. 30 System Shop Locked. He took a sip of tea and mused. According to the system's analysis, luck points are graded from low to high by color. Red, orange, yellow, green, cyan, blue, purple. Normal folks only ever reach red. And this guy is actually a scion. He definitely the lucky son of a gun. And me, black as pitch villain roll. Figures my lifespan is short and my luck's plummeting to pitch black. And it keeps reminding me about Ichin. Seeing Guchanga play dumb, Ichin pointed and yelled, Guchanga, what are you pretending for? Say something. Holy Son Chu Xian was also confused, seeing him still close his eyes in contemplation. Quickly, he took it upon himself to yell at Ichin for Guchanga insolent. How dare you call young master by his name? Several elders also chimed in, scolding Ichin. Today, in front of everyone, you've repeatedly challenged the sect. So insidious, the peanut gallery also joined in. Exactly. Daring to speak disrespectfully to our young master. Unforgivable. That's right. This Yichen really doesn't know the immensity of heaven and earth, pretending to be all righteous. Yichen, being scorned and cursed by everyone, broke out in a cold sweat. He thought in disbelief. What? What's going on here? Why is everyone siding with this Guchanga? Clearly, I'm the one with the highest talent. I should be the future master. Afterwards, Yichen looked straight at the saintess, but it only made him even more disappointed. Even Chinga isn't speaking up for me. What on earth is happening? We clearly have such a good relationship. Guchanga pondered, assessing his surroundings, looking at the miserable state of that kid, feeling incredibly refreshed instead. After being scorned for a while, Yichen regained his spirit and roared, Guchanga, you think you can get away with pretending to be silent, bullying people by relying on your influence? What are you even capable of? Hitting the nail on the head. The old Saint Master immediately said, turns out this Yichen really doesn't know how to appreciate a favor. Holy Sun Chu Xian standing next to him couldn't hold back and spoke up. Saint Master, I will go and capture Yichen and ask for punishment from young master. Not waiting for the Saint Master to agree, the young man had already rushed forward. Power gathered on his hand, accompanied by arcs of lightning swirling around. Yichen was just waiting for this. Fire gathered in Yichen's hand, ready to throw a punch. Bring it on. Perfect timing. The two people just charged at each other without the slightest hesitation when the two fists collided. A powerful shock wave spread around. The elders and the gossiping crowd constantly chattered. Yichen really overestimated himself, daring to go against Holy Sun Chu Xian. Holy Sun Chu Xian is at the half-step divine power realm, while Yichen is only at the soul palace realm. Moreover, Holy Sun also has the thunderous flesh divine body. An elder also chimed in. Chu Xian's strength has improved. This battle is not surprising at all. But Guchanga thought differently. What a bunch of naive fools. In this world, realm power levels are divided into body refinement, spirit ocean, soul palace, divine power, great power, saint master, marquis, king, void god. This Yichen can't even win against such a mediocre opponent. How is he worthy of the luck on him? Yichen and Holy Sun Chu Xian exchanged internal force for a while. In the end, Yichen seemed slightly stronger, and he actually managed to knock Holy Sun Chu Xian back. Holy Sun Chu Xian looked utterly dumbfounded like a dog that just got tricked. Totally unable to believe he got overpowered by an inner sect disciple. Yichen, having sent the Holy Sun flying, just snickered. Holy Sun, huh? More like holy nothing if you ask me. Even the Holy Lord was stunned, blurting out, what the heck just happened? A bunch of fangirling female disciples started chattering like crazy. No way Yichen, who's only at the Soul Palace realm, could stand against Holy Sun Chu Xian. Meanwhile, the girl next to them blushed and gushed, Chen is so handsome. A young dude overhearing the girl's praise, Yichen got all riled up and snapped, shut your mouths. You want to offend our young master Guchanga? Ever the smooth operator thought to himself called it as expected of the male lead. His ability to cause a stir and look down on everyone is pretty decent. But all this Yichen's doing today is to stop the Taishan Holy Land from marrying their holy maiden to me. Guchanga glanced at her luck value, 350. So the one with the golden 350 luck points is definitely the female lead in this whole drama. If that's the case, then ticking him off is pretty much a done deal for me. Thinking this, a smirk crept onto his face. Then, after pretending to be deaf for a bit, Guchanga finally spoke up, asking her, you seem to have a lot of faith in this Yichen guy, huh? Holy Maiden Su Chinga hearing this broke out in a cold sweat because he totally hit a nerve. Guchanga continued, trying so hard to protect him, acting all calm like that. Are you trying to tell me you and Yichen have nothing going on? Afraid I might deal with him? What a clever woman. Suddenly, Guchanga put down his teacup and said, all gone. Su Chinga immediately went to refill it. But her hands were shaking so much that she spilled tea all over the place. Seeing this, Guchanga quickly took her hand to comfort her. I'm not some kind of monster, Miss Su. Why so tense? Even though she was super nervous, she still replied, no, it's nothing. Guchanga kept caressing her smooth hand as he said, the tea is hot. Just let the servants handle it. What if you hurt your pretty hand? Hearing this, she blushed and looked down, not daring to meet Gu Chang's gaze. System announcement. Su Qingga's inner thoughts have changed. Yi Chen's luck has decreased by 10 points. At the same time, his black luck has increased by a corresponding 10 points. Gu Changga was a bit surprised. So, it can even happen like this, huh? Seeing Gu Changga holding his beloved's hand, Yi Chen was absolutely furious, his teeth grinding together as he spat out, "Gu Changga, how dare you touch her?" Seeing this reaction, Gu Changga got even more excited. A sinister smile spreading across his face, Things are getting more and more interesting. Yi Chen couldn't take it anymore and exploded with power, roaring, "Gu Changga, get your filthy hand off her." Holy Sun Chu Xian, seeing this, interjected, "Your opponent is me." Yi Chen immediately growled back, "Chu Xian, do you really think that just because you're a holy sun, I wouldn't dare kill you?" Gu Changga, meanwhile, was deep in thought. According to the usual script, Yi Chen would probably go from weak to strong, defeat Chu Xian, and then use this opportunity to challenge me. With the main character's golden finger controlling the situation and his cultivation talent, he'd succeed in a few years and then come back to settle the score. Wouldn't that leave me as a corpse on the side of the road? Yi Chen below was still fuming hot as a stove, while Gu Changga continued his train of thought. Too bad for him. Your daddy here transmigrated, and I'm already familiar with these little tricks. There's no way I'm letting you win. Ain't no way I'm letting this bullcrap script control my destiny. And then Gu Changga just gets up and is all like, boring. He immediately takes off, wanting to totally crush Yi Chen. The elders watching him jump out are instantly sweating bullets. Gu Changga flies in front of Yi Chen and says, "If this involves me, then no need to trouble Holy Sun Chu Xian." Hearing Chu Xian, he stammers, "Gu, young master Gu." Seeing Gu Changga approach with a show of force, Yi Chen retorts, "Fake much? You think I'm scared of you?" Gu Changga remains chill. Slowly says, "The so-called not scared is just because you're clueless." As soon as he finishes, his power explodes. Yi Chen, facing that pressure, gets shoved back, struggling hard, drenched in sweat, but he still mouths off, Just average." Hearing that, Gu Changga just hums. His eyes now wide open, unleashing even more intense pressure. Yi Chen is like a tiny boat in a storm, tossed around nonstop. The main hall doors are quickly blasted open by Gu Changga's power. Yi Chen finally can't take the pressure and collapses to his knees. Gu Changga coldly asks, "Young Master Yi, what do you want to say?" These onlookers are freaking out, whispering to each other. This aura young Master Gu is seriously this strong. Someone next to him chimes in. No wonder he's from the upper realm. That Yi Chen is totally over his head. Su Qingga sees Yi Chen getting wrecked by Gu Changga's pressure and is terrified. She's trembling, can't stand straight, and leans on a tea table for support. The old holy master mutters to himself, no wonder he's from the upper realm. So young yet already this powerful. Can't afford to offend him. Yi Chen is kneeling at Gu Changga's feet, still stubbornly looking up at him with hateful eyes. System notification publicly face slapped. Yi Chen's luck value -10. Host's heavenly destiny value +50. Seeing this, he thinks it actually increases heavenly destiny like this. Heavenly destiny points can upgrade cultivation methods. So, of course, it can also boost cultivation. At this moment, he closes his eyes, his consciousness slowly entering his mind space. He then asks the system, if I kill Yi Chen right now, how much heavenly destiny value will I get? The system responds. People with high luck value receive protection from the Supreme Will. With your current heavenly destiny value, this action will be met with backlash. So offending this lucky guy brings bad luck. No wonder my luck has always been black. This villain character setting is seriously unpredictable. Heaven's secrets are hard to fathom. With your current strength, killing Yi Chen isn't difficult, but some variables will occur because you are the biggest variable yourself. So, I can't kill him now, but I can use some methods to reduce his luck value. And when it's low enough, the time is right for me to strike, right? Correct. Those things closely related to the protagonist are exactly like that. After questioning the system for a while, he finally comes back to his senses. Guchanga glances at Suchinga, thinking if that's the case, forcing Suchinga to submit to affect Yichen isn't a bad idea. The Holy Master suddenly bursts out laughing. Haha. Young Master Gu is so young, yet his cultivation is already so profound. The crowd chimes in. Just a bit of aura and it makes people tremble. Young Master Gu is truly a god. An elder adds, "We thought the Taishan Holy Land with 10,000 years of inheritance and vast territory was already the overlord of the world. But meeting you today, young master, it's true there are always people better and heavens beyond heavens." Guchanga responds, "You all overpraise me. Changa's strength is not worth mentioning." Chu Xian respectfully bows and says, "It's because my cultivation is lacking, troubling you to take action." Truly shameful. He replies, "No worries." Kneeling on the ground, Yichen is already drenched in sweat. And now hearing these mocking words in his ears, young Master Gu has already shown mercy. He still doesn't know his place. Yichen is truly ungrateful. Doesn't believe the truth. Yichen blurts out, "No, impossible. It can't be like this. It's all because of you. Because of you." Then Yichen suddenly jumps up, roaring, "Guchanga, go die." Instantly, Yichen quickly gathered his strength, swinging his fist, trying to sneak attack Guchanga. The elders shouted in alarm, "Yi, how dare you!" When Yichen's fist reached in front of Guchanga, it was blocked by a barrier like an invisible layer of defense. "Bro." Guchanga just calmly looked at Yichen like an idiot. Yichen stared wide-eyed in disbelief, unable to move a muscle, not giving Yichen time to react. Guchanga waved his hand and smacked him, sending Yichen flying like a rag doll, crashing hard into a pillar, blood splattering everywhere. Suchinga covered her mouth in fear, not daring to make a sound. Yichen, having taken a hit and stuck to the pillar, slowly slumped to the floor. The young man now lay motionless, pretending to be dead. The elders scolded Yichen for disregarding sect rules, not listening to repeated warnings, offending honored guests, immediately sealing his cultivation, imprisoning him in the dungeon, waiting for young Master Gu to decide his fate personally. Some gossiping youths commented, young Master Gu was already merciful earlier, and Yichen still dared to sneak attack. Yeah, right? So embarrassing. He's totally ruined the reputation of our Taishan Holy Land. 2 disciples came to take Yichen away, but he stopped pretending to be dead and woke up shouting, "Let me go. I am the most talented disciple here, the hope of the sect." Guchanga ignored him, but stood up. And as he flew past Suchinga, he said, "Saintess Chinga, I heard. Tonight's moon is very beautiful. I wonder if I could have the pleasure of watching it with you." The old holy master praised, "Haha, young Master Gu can still be so elegant after this incident. Truly a magnanimous person. My daughter will naturally agree." Yichen heard this and reached out wanting to grab her. He softly called, "Chinga." Suchinga now had a sorrowful expression, glancing at her father, whose expression was threatening. He secretly transmitted his voice. "The fate of our sect is in this young master's hands. You cannot afford to make any mistakes now." Hearing this, Suchinga could only reluctantly answer yes. Hearing this, Yichen stared wide-eyed and exclaimed, "You guys," so angry he couldn't bear it. The young man spat out a mouthful of fresh blood, then fainted. System notification: Yichen's mental state has been affected. Luck directly deducted by 100 points. Host's heavenly destiny points increased by 500. Bro Guchanga was secretly pleased. So that's how it is. This child of heavenly destiny is even weaker than the system. Huh. Although it's a bit of a hassle, the process of slowly crushing this to death is quite interesting. Scene changed to evening. Tonight, the moon is shining brightly. A figure in black clothes stood on the rooftop. Inside the house, sounds were coming out. "Chinga, I know you have feelings for Yichen, but given the current situation inside the room," Suchinga was talking to her father, the Holy Master. She replied, "I know. Compared to the benefits that young master brings, how can Yichen compare?" Her father sighed helplessly upon hearing this. Suchinga then told her father that there was nothing else. "Chinga will go check up on that one for a bit." The figure in black clothes outside had heard the entire conversation between the two. Then the figure in black clothes slowly disappeared into the void. A moment later, Gu Chang'e asked, "How's the investigation going?" Just then, the black-robed dude showed up, reporting, "Young master, you're totally spot on, like you predicted everything." The Taishan Holy Master summoned Su Qingge and poured his heart out. Gu Chang'e just gave a casual "MHM" in response. Gu Chang'e's Tao protector then explained, "The Taishan Holy Land looks strong on the outside, but is weak on the inside. The strongest person, the Supreme Elder, actually passed away 300 years ago in meditation, but they've been keeping it a secret. So, young master, you're basically the biggest backer they could hope for right now. Plus, the Taishan Holy Master's wife is a noble lady from the upper realm. She got snatched back up there years ago, and he's hoping to use the connection between you and Su Qingge to find out where she is." Hearing this, Gu Chang'e got even more amused. "Called it, all right. Go keep an eye on that Yi guy in the slammer for me." Gu Chang'e then asked. The Tao protector inquired, "Young master seems pretty interested in that Yichen dude, huh?" Gu Chang'e replied, "He's got a ton of luck on him. He might just be the lucky break between us." "Understood, master." With that, the old man gradually faded into the void and disappeared. Gu Chang'e sighed tiredly. Being stuck between two guys with great luck is really not easy to mess with. Kind of tricky, actually. Suddenly, the system popped up with Gu Chang'e's info. Destiny points 550 points. Luck 40. System shop unlocks when luck reaches 1000. Congrats on making it through your first day. Successfully passed the newbie phase and got rewards. Newbie phase, huh? Gu Chang'e immediately tapped to open it. Congrats host for obtaining the Realm Amulet and the 5-colored Dharma robe that shattered 1/3 of the world's sentient beings. Huh? Shattered 1/3 of the world's sentient beings. What's that even mean? The system explained. After refining the world's sentient beings, it can nourish your inner body across 10,000 worlds. Creation never ceases. Self-forming and self-generating. Gu Chang'e's interest was piqued. Interesting. A world forming inside me. If it's the sentient seeds of the world, then who in this world could even kill me? He then told the system, "Pump up my stats. Cultivation peak Holy Lord Realm." At this moment, Gu Chang'e closed his eyes to cultivate. Streams of bright spirit chi continuously swirled around him. Then they gradually converged towards his body. A moment later, Gu Chang'e snapped his eyes open. Power erupted, filling the room with dazzling colors. The door couldn't withstand this power and shattered into pieces. It exploded in a beam of radiant light, shooting straight into the sky, blasting a hole in the roof. Everyone who saw the scene was utterly stunned. What powerful aura is this coming from? Which big shot is it? The Holy Master who was meditating also suddenly woke up startled. Su Qingge standing in a pavilion also saw the dazzling multicolored light in the night sky. Cold sweat trickled down her back. Suddenly, a shadowy hand reached out from within her, followed by a soul in Su Qingge's form flying out, chuckling. "Hee, look at your pathetic state now. Try to see things from a different angle. Gu Chang'e is steady and powerful. Way better than that Yichen in every way. We are one appearance, but two souls. I know you." Su Qingge ignored her and turned away saying, "Shut up." Inside the room, Gu Chang'e, having just broken through, was still sitting on the bed. At this moment, Gu Chang'e had already reached the Marquee realm. He channeled his energy into his palm and felt it. This is the power of the Marquee realm, huh? It grants me so many talents in a short time and also pushes my progress up a notch. Seriously terrifying. The system info popped up. Divine ability. Tao Heaven Treasure Cannon. Heaven Devouring Demonic Art. Destiny points 0. Remaining luck 40. Broke through 1 level and already used up all my destiny points. Looks like the price of this cultivation method is pretty steep. Stretching out his hand, he mused. Oh well, at least I've got the system. I'll just raise my destiny points later. Easy peasy. Then Gu Chang'e looked up and laughed. A totally satisfied look on his face. He exclaimed, "Yichen, oh Yichen, even though your struggling cultivation looks so pathetic, the way you got sliced like a veggie by me. Still pretty cool, I got to admit." What a show-off. Guchanga flashed a sinister smile and continued, hope you can offer me some more destiny points when I suck you dry later. Charming, isn't he? After that, Guchanga frowned, a satisfied tone in his voice as he said, well, looks like your death day has arrived. Ominous. At the same time, inside a dimly lit prison cell, illuminated by flickering flames, desperate screams echoed. Yichen was covered in injuries. He put his hand on his mouth, thinking to himself, what the hell is going on? Yichen's hands were bound by chains. He leaned against the wall, head lowered, and pondered. In the past 3 years, no matter what happened, I always managed to turn the tables. Why am I facing this kind of end now? Talk about a fall from grace. Finishing his thoughts, Yichen slammed his hand hard against the wall. Indescribable emotions flashed across his face as he glared and roared, Guchanga. Suddenly, a voice rang out, Little Chin, and a red light emanated from the ring on his hand. Oh snap! A ring spirit. The red light grew brighter and brighter and a woman emerged from the ring. Plot twist. Yichen, hearing the voice, couldn't help but be surprised and slowly turned his head. It turned out the woman was Yan-ji, his master. A blazing fire surrounded her, radiating with intense power. Talk about an entrance. Seeing this, Yichen hesitated. Master Yan-ji floated in midair, looking down at Yichen. He was surprised to see Yan-ji and asked curiously, Master, where did you go before? Why didn't you come to save me? Poor guy is confused. Yan-ji looked very sad and replied, at that time, the divine sense of some kings existed. I suspected that guy was related to the enemy who framed me back then, so I didn't appear, she continued. Having said that, you shouldn't have been so reckless. Yichen, hearing this, immediately stood with his legs wide apart and retorted. Reckless? Could it be that you also want me to let go of Suchinga? Oh, the drama. Yichen's face was swollen and completely red. He frowned and shouted. Her aptitude is before he could finish. Yan-ji put her hand on his mouth, reminding him. This matter needs careful consideration. Guchanga's background is terrifying, and there's a powerful force backing him. We absolutely cannot touch him. Well, there goes that plan. Hearing this, Yichen immediately turned his back and angrily replied, So what? It's just that my luck is temporarily stopped. He's not giving up. Worry still lingered on Yan-ji's face. She frowned and pondered deeply. He doesn't know how to reflect on his recklessness and improve himself. Such a mentality is too immature, harsh, but fair. Finishing her thoughts, Yan-ji spoke. The current task is to help you get out of this predicament. I can sense that there are many strong individuals in this prison. Maybe even Yichen clenched his fists. Suspense. Immediately after, Yichen became extremely happy and excitedly said, I have a way. Yan-ji looked very curious. Spill the beans, Yichen. Then Yichen revealed his plan, saying, the Taishan Holy Land, in order to sit firmly on top for hundreds of years without falling, ultimately relies on other sects being afraid of the Supreme Elder's strength. But outsiders don't know that the Supreme Elder passed away 300 years ago. Plot twist level expert. Yichen widened his eyes, frowned, and then revealed a sinister smile. Continuing, Master, if you spread this news, those sects that have been eyeing the dragon vein here for a long time will gather here. At that time, I can easily escape. Clever move, Yichen. Yan-ji frowned and replied. If that's the case, the Taishan Holy Land will probably face the disaster of sect annihilation. After all, they have saved many lives over the years. She's got a point. The next second, Yichen reached out his hand and shouted, I don't care. They were the unrighteous ones first. I'll just let them know that offending me, Yichen, comes at a price. He's going full villain mode. Hearing this, Yan-ji could only sigh and remain silent. Looks like she's not entirely on board. At the same time, Ming Lao was outside and heard the entire conversation between Yan-ji and Yichen. He thought to himself, is the opportunity that the young master mentioned a remaining wisp of soul from an ancient powerful expert? Intrigue intensifies. On the other side, under a dark night, everyone was still diligently cleaning the courtyard. Life goes on. Even with all this drama. Meanwhile, Guchanga and Suchinga were chatting. Suchinga lowered her head and poured tea, then asked, "What young Master Gu said is truly fascinating. Is the upper realm really that vast?" A spirit flew out from Suchinga's body and placed a hand on her shoulder, then chuckled. "I told you Guchanga is a very meticulous and knowledgeable person, much stronger than that." Yichen looks like someone's spilling secrets. Guchanga held the teacup in his hand and said casually, "Whether the upper realm is big or not, wouldn't you know if you went to see for yourself?" Smooth Suchinga gently sat back down and replied, "Young master is joking. Without void refining realm strength, how could one pass through the barrier? Nowadays, most of the experts in the great holy lands of the eastern wilderness have only just reached the mid-stage of the Marquis realm. How could they possibly ascend to the upper realm?" "Good point." Guchanga slowly sipped his tea and said, "Void refining realm. Very strong, huh? If you really go to the upper realm, you'll find that the void refining realm is actually nothing much." Perspective check. Suchinga remained very calm in the face of Guchanga's words. Then she asked, "Young master, if it's in the upper realm, can you protect me completely?" The atmosphere around Guchanga was still quite gloomy, ominous vibes. Hearing this, he curiously asked back, "Oh, what do you mean by that?" Suchinga lowered her head and hesitated. "I know that with my status, it will be difficult for me to gain young master's favor, but Chinga is willing to wait for you." "Well, that's a confession." The system notification chimed in. Suchinga's mood has shifted. Yichen's luck has directly decreased by 40 points. Host's destiny points have increased by 200. Score. Guchanga was still a bit curious and thought to himself, so, if characters connected to the Child of Luck have a change in heart, it can also lower his luck points and increase my destiny points. Interesting mechanic. The next second, a sinister smile crept onto his face as he thought, if that's the case, then things just got a whole lot simpler. Guchanga put down his teacup and said, "Wanting to gain my favor?" Holy Maiden Chinga's attitude sure changed quickly. Talk about a 180 changing yourself so quickly. "Are you trying to get me to spare?" Yichen, he's sharp hearing this. Suchinga started to look scared and broke out in a sweat. The next second, she quickly replied, "Wouldn't dare. Chinga knows that it's difficult for someone like me to catch young master's eye. It's all just to show my sincerity, hoping young master won't mind what happened today." Begging for mercy much, Guchanga picked up his teacup and asked, "Oh, Yichen is so devoted to you, not hesitating to turn against the Taishan Holy Land, and you're replying to him like this, cold-blooded." Suchinga lowered her head and replied, "Yes, affairs are not something Chinga can change. For the sake of the sect and my father, everything else is unimportant. Sect loyalty over love." Classic. Hearing this, Guchanga still looked very calm and remained silent, saying nothing. Then Suchinga hesitated. "Young master," she closed her eyes and continued. "Actually, Chinga's physique is the 9 in profound body. Apart from me, no one else knows about this big reveal." Just as Guchanga was about to pick up his teacup, a notification appeared. Suchinga has developed a submissive mentality for the first time. Yichen's luck has decreased by 40 points. Host's destiny points have increased by 200. Double score. Seeing this, Guchanga widened his eyes and pondered. 9 in profound body. Definitely a top-tier physique. Proactively telling me this, she's really showing her sincerity. He's impressed. Guchanga thought again. Just like that, Yichen has lost more than 300 luck points. Combining the situation of the Taishan sect and my identity, Suchinga actually understands the big picture very well. Truly a rational and intelligent woman. He's definitely plotting something. Then Guchanga put his hand on his mouth and chuckled to himself, thinking, not only do I get to reap the benefits, but I also get to enjoy the romance. Looks like being the villain is pretty awesome. He's loving this. Suchinga placed her hand on the table and hesitated. Young Master Guchanga, hearing this, didn't think much of it, and then asked, "The 9 in profound body is a top-tier physique, and you're just telling me this?" Suchinga's hand trembled uncontrollably. She tried to clench her fist and replied, "The sect is the 1,000-year effort of my family. Compared to that, what am I worth?" Sacrifice for the family. Su Chinga's cheeks flushed red. She placed her hand on her chest and continued. As long as young master helps our Taishan Holy Land get out of rock bottom, Chinga is willing to offer herself. What bold move. Guchanga simply replied, At the same time, he chuckled to himself again, thinking, the system is practically handing this woman to me. Will my luck drop? He's worried about his own luck now. The system notification popped up. Regarding the current luck situation between Su Chinga and Yichen, if it really progresses one step further, then it's very likely that it will be devoured by luck. Meanwhile, Su Chinga lowered her head, looking very sad. Oh, trouble in paradise. Hearing this, Guchanga frowned and tried to suppress his anger, thinking to himself, damn heavens, more luck involved. I already figured there wouldn't be any good deals. He's annoyed. The stars in the sky continued to shine brightly. Guchanga then asked, Miss, revealing this secret to me, aren't you afraid I'll tell others? He's testing her. Su Chinga frowned slightly and replied, Chinga trusts in young master's character. Suddenly, Guchanga stood up, startling Su Chinga. Immediately after, he turned around and said, regarding your rare physique, Gu will act as if I heard nothing today. If Saint Maiden Chinga is trying to use this chance to move me, please return. Hearing this, Su Chinga stood up looking genuinely surprised. A second later, Su Chinga stepped forward and reached out her hand. Trying to salvage the situation, young master, just as Su Chinga was about to grab Guchanga's hand. He brushed her hand away. Guchanga frowned and glanced behind him, reminding her, Saint Maiden, please have some self-respect. Su Chinga was now sweating profusely, stammering, and so she could only watch Guchanga leave. Her inner soul manifested and teased. A beauty served right to his door, and he's still not interested, the soul continued. This Guchanga is indeed making things difficult for me. Meanwhile, Su Chinga sat back down on the chair, sighing. Su Chinga lowered her head, speaking in a dejected tone. Thinking about it in the main hall this morning, young Master Gu didn't actually do anything wrong. Yet, I was the first to judge him as a bad person. The moonlight tonight is truly round, a voice echoed. It's me who wrongly blamed young Master Gu. And the system notification chimed. Su Chinga's perspective changes. Luck value increased by 20. Heavenly destiny value increased by 100. Guchanga sighed, muttering, this Su Chinga is putting on a whole show. Oh, is she trying to convince herself? Someone replied. If that's the case, then it's time to deal with Yichen. A flame ignited, burning fiercely. At the same time, Ming Lao bowed respectfully and reported, just as young master predicted, there is indeed a remnant soul of a former powerhouse following Yichen. The next moment, Guchanga walked past the prison cell. The moment Yichen saw him, he widened his eyes and frowned, looking menacing. Yichen, filled with rage, yelled, Guchanga, what are you doing here? He calmly replied, of course, I'm here to visit you. Then Guchanga looked at Yichen with a composed expression and said, no, that's not right. I'm here to pay respects to the powerhouse behind you, isn't it? Yichen, hearing this, started sweating and stuttered. What are you talking about? I don't understand what you mean. Guchanga closed his eyes and said, stop pretending. This act of yours can fool anyone. He glanced at the ring on Yichen's hand and questioned, could it be that senior still wants to hide? This sneaky tail between your legs look doesn't scream powerful expert to me. Immediately, a red glow emanated from the ring. Yanji's voice sounded, I never intended to oppose young master. Then Yanji flew out, asking, what does young master want from a remnant soul like me? Yichen, seeing this, stammered. Shifu. Guchanga nonchalantly replied, Senior misunderstands. I'm merely curious. What kind of divine being could have taught such a useless idiot like Yichen? At the same time, he thought to himself, unexpectedly, it's not an old grandpa, but a young lady. The next second, Yichen pointed at Guchanga and roared furiously, Guchanga, who are you calling useless? Guchanga said, it's been said since ancient times that pearls are often covered in dust. Wise birds choose their tree to perch on. Senior has always been by Yichen's side. Isn't it just a case of having talent but not being valued? Yanji frowned, suddenly realizing a scheme to sow discord. Yichen became even more enraged and cursed. Despicable bastard. Guchanga. Not only did you steal Chinga from me, but now you even dare to steal my Shifu. Yanji standing beside them was sweating and remained silent. Guchanga closed his eyes and asked, "Steal Chinga from you?" Gu dares not accept that. You should know from beginning to end, it was all her free will. Yichen's eyes started to become bloodshot. He frowned and roared loudly. "You're talking nonsense." Then Guchanga gently extended his hand and stated, "People should always move forward. This is the law of survival for all things in this world." With that, Guchanga casually tapped the prison cell door and it slowly cracked open. In the next second, the door shattered into pieces, leaving Yanji and Yichen dumbfounded, eyes wide in shock. As the wooden pieces fell, Guchanga continued, "And you, if you really want your Shifu to be okay, then stop harming her." At this point, Yichen was drenched in sweat, brows furrowed in a frown. Guchanga slowly stepped forward and asked, "Or what you think a wisp of a soul can last long in this world?" He stood in front of Yanji and said, "If Senior is willing to follow me, I can not only restore your body, but even help you return to your peak state." Hearing this, Yichen turned to look at Yanji's expression. A worried look on his face. Immediately after, Yichen clenched his fist and yelled, "Guchanga, this is between my Shifu and me. Don't you dare spout nonsense here, or I swear I'll rip your mouth off." A notification popped up. Yichen's personality shifts. Fortune value decreased by 20 points. Host's heavenly destiny value is 100. Guchanga frowned slightly, thinking to himself, "All right then." Guchanga said, "Senior should know, not to brag, but in every aspect, I go far superior to Yichen." Yichen frowned, looking increasingly anxious. Yanji remained focused, listening intently. Guchanga continued, "I know Yichen can provide spiritual qi to nourish your soul, but at his current pace, isn't he just a cage to you?" Yichen quickly interjected, reminding her, "Shifu, don't listen to his crap. He's definitely lying to you." Yanji was still hesitant. Looking troubled, she started to ponder. Is this really a scheme to sow discord? With Guchanga's strength, killing Yichen wouldn't be difficult at all. So why resort to such tactics? Could it be I'm overthinking? Maybe he just genuinely wants to recruit me to his side. Yanji looked at Guchanga, contemplating. Honestly, Guchanga hasn't done anything wrong. On the contrary, it's Yichen who's been relentlessly clinging on from the start, causing all sorts of trouble. A second later, Guchanga asked, "Has Senior made a decision?" Yanji closed her eyes and replied, "Little girl once received kindness from Little Chen, so I naturally can't abandon him now." Hearing this, Yichen was immediately overjoyed. Guchanga just sighed and said, "I'll give Senior time to reconsider. If Senior changes your mind, I won't pursue Yichen's offense against me. I'll even undo the punishment the Taishan Holy Land imposed on him. Restoring his current status wouldn't be hard." Guchanga added, "As for Chinga, I can even give her to him as a gift." Yichen gritted his teeth, suppressing his anger, and yelled, "You." Yanji responded, "Young Master Gu, please don't say that. I appreciate your sincerity." Following that, Guchanga raised 2 fingers, creating a golden ray of light, and replied, "Senior should still consider it further. Before leaving, I have a gift for you." In the next second, Guchanga took out a box surrounded by golden light. He presented it to Yanji and Yichen, surprising them both, and announced, "This is it." It slowly opened, revealing a blue pill inside. Guchanga explained, "Ancient soul nourishing holy medicine, soul convergence pill." Yichen turned around, spreading his arms wide, and yelled, "I get it. I get it all now, Guchanga, you despicable bastard. Not only do you want to humiliate me, but you also want to steal everything from me." Yanji stood there holding the small box in her hands. Immediately after, Yichen glanced at Yanji and said, "But what I least expected is that even Shifu, whom I trust the most, would bow down to my enemy for a medicinal pill." Yanji frowned, angrily, retorting, "What nonsense are you spouting? Everything I do is to help you get out of here." Yichen reached out his hand and yelled, "If you just said every word was for my sake, Then do as I say. Send that message out. Yan-ji's expression turned sorrowful. She hesitated. Then Yan-ji looked at the box in her hand and said, "If you insist on doing this, then I'll listen to you." Yan-ji then gradually started to disappear. Yichen happily said, "As expected of my Shifu, I knew you wouldn't abandon me." Yan-ji was vanishing in a red glow. The system notification sounded. Effective sowing discord between Yichen and his Shifu is effective. Fortune value decreased by 80 points. Host's heavenly destiny value increased by 100 points. On the other side, someone asked, "Young master, if you wanted that wisp of soul, why not just kill Yichen directly?" Guchanga looked out the window and asked Ming Lao in return, "Do you still remember why I descended to this lower realm?" Ming Lao frowned and hesitantly replied, "It's because of that unparalleled fierce weapon." Guchanga responded, "Exactly. It's for that weapon from the ancient 8 Desolations Demon God era. The 8 Desolations Demon Spear." A weapon surrounded by a red glow appeared. After that, Guchanga thought to himself, according to the usual plotline, Yichen is bound to stumble into some lucky encounter and get into that hidden treasure. Guchanga pondered again. Then snag himself some overpowered weapon, he thought deeply. And then grab that spear and head out, building up his prestige all the way. Next, Guchanga thought again. But for now, he's just a little rat helping me sniff out treasure. A second later, Guchanga glanced at old Ming and ordered, "Keep a close eye on Yichen. I'm going into closed-door cultivation for a bit." Old Ming bowed his head respectfully and replied, "This old servant understands." He then said, "System interface, open up." As soon as he spoke, a screen popped up and he scanned his personal info. Guchanga tapped on the cultivation methods and skills tab on the screen, and a notification appeared. Destiny points insufficient. Supreme grade and above cultivation methods are locked. Heaven grade and above cultivation methods not yet collected. The screen now displayed info about cultivation methods and skills. Guchanga rested his hand on his chin, considering it to boost a cultivator straight to the void refining realm, and it only costs 50 destiny points. A second later, Guchanga raised his hand, making a super decisive choice. This one then a notification popped up. Primordial Spirit Type Cultivation Method Innate Divine Embryo Scripture 1000 Destiny Points deducted, and a golden glow enveloped Guchanga, who then began cultivating the method. 3 days later, a powerful entourage advanced forward and a voice boomed. "Supreme Stygian Holy Land, Zhao Tian of the Great Sun Dynasty, Chu Wuji, Ancient Shao Family, Shaohua. Here to pay respects to the Taishan Holy Lord, Su Taishan and Su Qingga were cruising on a crane in midair." Looking down, he spoke. 3 experts at the half-step to Marquis Realm have personally come. Quite the show of force. Suddenly, Xiao was zoomed over on a massive monster, arms crossed, and burst into loud laughter, then yelled, "Spare the pleasantries, Su Taishan. Your Taishan Holy Land's been hogging the spirit vein for a millennium, leeching off your old geyser." Ancient Shao Family Shaohua flashed a sinister grin and continued, "Now that he's kicked the bucket, this spirit vein ought to be shared, wouldn't you say, with other sects? Right." A second later, Zhao Tian from Supreme Stygian Holy Land also flew over, joining in. "Spot on. Considering we're all top-tier sects in Eastern Wilderness, you better hand over the spirit vein willingly and maybe demote yourselves a rank. Then we might not push you to the brink, or else before he could finish." Su Taishan exploded in anger. "This spirit vein is the lifeblood of our holy land for 1,000 years. How can you just demand we hand it over? You old farts really think the Taishan Holy Land is a pushover?" Suddenly, someone holding the boundless tower in hand questioned, "Looks like Holy Lord Su isn't feeling too cooperative." Su Taishan stared ahead and finally recognized Chu Wuji of the Great Sun Dynasty continued. "Could it be you think your Taishan Holy Land can still stand against our 3 families?" Su Taishan frowned, replying calmly, "Though I'm clueless where you got the scoop. Do you honestly believe that just because our Supreme Elder is gone, the Taishan Holy Land is done for?" Su Qingga standing behind him hesitated. "Father." Then Su Taishan turned and asked, "Young Master Gu still hasn't finished his closed-door cultivation." Suchinga lowered her head, stammering, "Last, it was my fault for making young Master Gu lose goodwill. It's understandable if he's not willing to help us now." Hearing this, Su Taixian gritted his teeth, looking utterly shocked, and exclaimed, "What?" Zhao Tian frowned and interjected, "I've heard whispers for ages that the Taixian Holy Land has ties to the Upper Realm." Qi Wuji, still seated, chimed in. "The Upper Realm and Eastern Wilderness Holy Land are worlds apart. What cloud does Su Taixian have to rely on?" In the next instant, Qi Wuji raised the boundless tower now radiating golden light and declared, "With Qi Wuji of the Great Sun Dynasty here, even if a King Realm big shot shows up today, I'll throw down." Zhao Tian and Xiaohua were so stunned they broke out in cold sweats, thinking, "Imperial aura. Wasn't it said to be lost in the Great War a millennium ago?" The boundless tower hovered high, emitting a blinding golden light. Su Taixian remained anxious, thinking, "Young Master Gu, if you don't emerge, this old man might just have to fight to the bitter end here." Suchinga suddenly realized things were going south real fast. So she turned to leave and said, "Father, I'll go beg Master Gu." Desperate times, huh? And just like that, Suchinga bailed, leaving Su Taixian to fight. Qi Wuji spoke up, asking, "Su Taixian, are you really willing to annihilate both body and soul for the spirit vein? That's hardcore." Su Taixian gritted his teeth, frowned, and then hesitated, replying, "Let's talk." The next second, Qi Wuji raised 2 fingers, creating a golden light, and exclaimed, "Stubborn." The Wuji tower kept shining and Qi Wuji roared, "Since you want to die, then I'll grant you your wish." Talk about a death wish. Suddenly, a beam of colorful light surrounded the Wuji tower. Those colorful lights then enveloped the entire space. Pretty flashy. Everyone along with the surrounding monsters was so surprised that they were sweating buckets. Su Taixian then revealed a smile and said this. Once he got up his sleeve, Qi Wuji was so shocked that his jaw dropped and he kept shouting, seems like Su Taixian pulled a fast one." Xiaohua frowned, wondering, this power is at least on par with a nascent soul at the King Realm. Could it be that old fogey Su Taixian isn't dead yet? Suspicious. At the same time, Guchanga exhaled a puff of white smoke and wondered. So, this is the power of the nascent soul, huh? He's analyzing the situation. Then Guchanga remarked, "Looks like everyone has arrived. The party's getting started." Guchanga then looked very satisfied and continued. "Well then, next let's have a fight." Suchinga tried her best to run quickly towards the room ahead. As Suchinga ran, she thought to herself, the commotion just now, the experts from the other sects are probably a bit scared, right? Before I can invite young Master Gu, she's worried sick. Suddenly, someone covered Chinga's mouth with their hand, causing her to widen her eyes in fear. It was Yichen. He put his finger to his lips, gesturing for silence, and whispered, "It's me." She grabbed Yichen's hand and suddenly realized, what's he doing here? Chinga frowned and hesitated. "Why did you come out here? Risky move, Yichen." Yichen tightly gripped her hand and replied, "I'll explain later. Now I have to take you out of here. Get you far away from this fiery pit of the Taixian Holy Land." He's in rescue mode. Abruptly, Suchinga let go of Yichen's hand. This action surprised Yichen, causing him to turn back to look at her, his eyes wide with shock. Betrayed, Chinga adjusted her wrist and said, "Seriously, I will not leave the Taixian Holy Land. Don't you understand? She's making a stand." Hearing this, Yichen started to feel worried. He spread his arms wide and shouted, "Chinga, what time is it already? Why are you still so stubborn? Do you really think you can borrow Guchanga's power to save the Taixian Holy Land? He's losing it." Yichen's eyes became bloodshot. He frowned and hesitated. "Or have you? Under Guchanga's coercion, he's going there." Chinga, hearing this, raised both hands to cover her chest and shouted angrily, "Shut up. Young Master Gu has never forced me to do anything from beginning to end. It's all because my intentions were impure. Using all sorts of ways to make him like me. Intending to use my looks to exchange for peace for the Taixian Holy Land. She's laying it all out." Yichen widened his eyes and hesitantly called out her name, "Chinga." He's stunned. The next second, Suchinga's eyes filled with tears, and she poured out all the resentment in her heart. You'll only be happy if you trample on my last bit of self-respect, right, Yi? What makes you think I would betray the sect and follow you to leave here? And what makes you label young Master Gu? She's had enough. Suchinga then started to lower her voice. Taishian has nurtured you for over 10 years. At such a critical moment, what have you done for us? Yichen just listened intently to her words. Then Chinga wiped away the tears on her face and continued, Yichen, your selfishness and self-righteousness are truly disgusting. Ouch! Suddenly, the ring on Yichen's hand shone brightly. Yan Ji's voice echoed, Little Chin, let's go. But Yichen, still in disbelief, said, no way. This isn't the Chinga. I know. Guchanga must have used some kind of evil magic on her. He's in denial. Right then, Guchanga got a notification like ding 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 in his head that Yichen and the female lead had finally beefed. Yichen's luck stat dropped by 50 points. And guess what? Our main dude's heavenly destiny points went up by a sweet 250. Seeing this, he just couldn't help but smirk, all sinister-like, and was like, the moment is ripe for the picking. Suddenly, the door creaked open real slow, making a loud bang that echoed. Suchinga and Yichen, hearing this, both whipped their heads towards the door. Yichen started freaking out inside like, oh, bad news. Chinga gritted her teeth, her mind racing. No way. Like absolutely no way can young Master Gu see me and Yichen showing up together like this. In a split second, she yanked out a sword and whoosh, it glowed with this eerie blue light. And guess where that sword was pointing? Straight at Ye's face. Dude was so shocked, his eyes went wide as saucers. Then bam, that sword went right through Yichen and blood started gushing out like a broken tap. Yichen was just spitting out blood like crazy. While Suchinga, stone-faced, was still holding that sword deep in him, no hesitation at all. Yichen's whole body was shaking like a leaf, looking totally bewildered, and he choked out. Chinga, Yuyenji, bless her soul, jumped in to remind him, Little Chin, get out of here. Suchinga frowned like seriously and said, sorry, but I got to make things crystal clear between us. And get this, the floor was now swimming in Yichen's blood. Yikes. He slowly stumbled backward, wrenching himself off the sword. Then out of nowhere, a red glow popped up around Yichen's wound, all mystical and stuff. And then this red light just kind of wrapped around Yichen completely. He hung his head low, looking like someone just kicked his puppy. Yichen, with this super intense look in his eyes, glared ahead and growled, if that's how it is, then we've got a long time to settle this. Next thing you know, poof, Yichen was gone, leaving Suchinga standing there all alone. Suchinga lowered her sword, watching Yichen fly off into the distance. When suddenly, a voice calls out, Chinga. Hearing this, her eyes shot open, totally surprised. Suchinga spun around, kind of stammering, you young master. Chinga has failed you. Guchanga just casually replied, you did great, but next time Yichen sees you, things are going to be like fight to the death level intense, you know. No regrets. Suchinga looked all sad but said, no regrets. If Chinga decided to follow young Master Gu, then it was only a matter of time before things got to this point. Anyway, out of the blue, Guchanga reached out and gently patted Chinga's head and just said, good. This totally made her face go all red like a tomato. A second later, Guchanga pulled Chinga into a hug and whispered softly, from now on, your problems are my problems. The sword Chinga was holding just slipped from her hand and clattered to the floor. She was still in total shock like, wait, what just happened? Meanwhile, Guchanga was thinking to himself, now that Suchinga has shown her true colors to Yichen, guess I don't have to keep playing it cool with her anymore. Guchanga looked at her all soft and fuzzy and thought, if she's got some high-level luck points I can use, then this ain't a bad deal at all. Guchanga and Chinga stayed hugged up for a good while when suddenly, ding ding, system notification time. Congrats, host. You've triggered luck. Your luck stat plus 60 points. Heavenly destiny plus 30. He thought to himself, wait, is this how I rack up luck points? So besides stomping on those Destiny's darlings, nabbing people with big luck works too. Huh? Guchanga's eyes sharpened, he thought. Looks like I just unlocked a whole new cheat code. Then Su Chinga looked up all serious and blurted out, "Young master, I came here 'cause I got to ask you for a favor." Gu Changa, hearing this, grabbed both of her hands and replied, "I already know. With me here, ain't nobody going to lay a finger on the Taishan Holy Land. Not even a hair." At the same time, Su Taishan was still standing off against a bunch of grumpy elders. Su Taishan was still frowning, all worried, lost, and thought about something. Zhao Tian stroked his beard, chuckled, and said, "Hey, old brother Su, we ain't trying to make a big ugly mess here. If your supreme elder is still kicking, why not let us pay our respects?" Su Taishan started sweating bullets and said, "Look, I don't know where you guys got your info, but our sect's supreme elder has actually passed away." "For real?" Zhao Tian, scratching his head, asked, all confused. "Then what the heck was that nascent soul wave we felt earlier?" Xiao was stomped forward and declared, "Fake gods, fake ghosts. Let's just bust in and see what's up." A sec later, Gu Changa just bammed. Unleashed a colorful light show out of nowhere and yelled, "Whoa." Zhao Tian, Qi Wuji, and Xiaohua were all like eyes popping out, and Qi Wuji muttered, "He's here." Gu Changa casually touched down on the water surface. Then Gu Changa, smooth as butter, just scooped up Su Chinga and stood right in front of Su Taishan, making the old dude totally surprised. Su Taishan was like, "Guest from afar, disturbing my peace, Chinga?" And Xiaohua frowned, eyes wide open, staring ahead. Right then, Xiaohua points a finger and bursts out laughing, yelling, "Hey, Su Taishan, this punk you call a savior, has the Taishan Holy Land really fallen this low?" Su Taishan frowned, retorting, "If I were you, I'd honestly swallow those words back. This master here is way out of your league to offend, you know." Right after, Xiaohua charges forward like a hungry wolf, yelling, "Offend or not, we'll only know after trying." Gu Changa was now glowing purple all over, looking kind of scary. But Xiaohua just kept charging like a madman. And, just like that, a crazy fight broke out. These two just went at it. Xiaohua threw a haymaker at Gu Changa, but our boy just casually blocked it with his hand. Xiaohua was shook, yelling, "What the?" Gu Changa, smooth as silk, made a move and grabbed Xiaohua's hand, making the old dude wince. Next thing you know, Xiaohua's sleeve was ripped, blood spraying everywhere, and Gu Changa was still twisting his arm. Gu Changa followed up with another move, sending Xiaohua flying dozens of meters away. Xiaohua was still in shock, eyes wide as saucers. Zhao Tian and Qi Wuji were speechless. For a sec, Xiaohua's arm was messed up bad, and he stammered, "Marquis realm." Qi Wuji frowned, sounding totally in disbelief. No way. How could the Eastern Wilderness Holy Land have a young Marquis realm cultivator? Su Ji raised the boundless tower in his hand and went on, "Kid, talent's impressive, but you must know your place. No matter where you crawled out from, you'd better not meddle in the Taiwan Holy Land's business." Gu Changa casually dusted off his sleeve and retorted, "From now on, the Taiwan Holy Land's business is my business." Su Chinga's eyes widened, stammering, "Young master." Su Taiwan clenched his fists, secretly excited. Su Ji's face turned grim, saying, "If you're so eager to die, this saint won't waste words." Then Su Wuji yelled, "Let's go," and with a hand seal, unleashed a golden light. Zhao Yan and Xiaohua charged forward again. Zhou Tian chanted, creating a green glow around his sword, frowning, and asked, "Ignoring us, huh?" Xiaohua gripped his sword, leaped up, and yelled, "Punk, eat this." Gu Changa remained calm. Casually raising his hand, Gu Changa held it out in front of Xiaohua, freezing him in midair. Then Zhou Tian raised his sword, ready to stab Gu Changa. But Gu Changa saw it coming. He casually flicked a finger, tapping the sword, and easily dodged the blade. Xiaohua and Zhao Yan were now completely under Gu Changa's control, like puppets. Su Ji kept chanting, yelling. The next second, the boundless tower loomed above Gu Changa's head, slamming down. Gu Changa, still calm, said softly, "Oh," as he was trapped in Su Ji's formation, golden light surrounding the boundless tower. Su Chinga freaked out, yelling, "Young master." Su Wuji laughed, looking smug, and shouted, "Talent means nothing. Countless geniuses have come and gone, but only a few truly rise. Xiaohua, with his sword on his back, grinned wickedly, saying, "Arrogant fool who doesn't know his limits. Thinking he's untouchable just because he's at the marquee realm." Su Qingge turned to Su Taiwan, panicking, "Father, young Master Gu." Su Taiwan gritted his teeth, frowning, and said angrily, "Damn it, if it weren't for the boundless tower, how could they even touch young Master Gu?" Chu Wuji smirked, "Hey, Su, anything else to say for yourself?" Xiaohua gripped his sword tightly and chimed in, "Why waste words? Just kill him, and let's seize that spirit vein." Suddenly, cracks spiderwebbed across the boundless tower, and Chu Wuji's jaw dropped. The old man's eyes widened like saucers, and he yelled, "No way. No freaking way." Then, with a boom, golden light exploded from the boundless tower. The next moment, the boundless tower crumbled into pieces, blinding everyone with golden light. Debris rained down. Guchanga suddenly glowed with purple and red hues, looking utterly menacing. With a gaze that could pierce worlds, Guchanga stood above hierarchical ranks, a presence unmatched. In these lower realms, even sects spend lifetimes barely glimpsing a spirit lord realm cultivator. Guchanga lifted his hand, a pink glow forming, and said, "Forget about marquee realm, you're weaker than even void gods." Xiaohua, Chu Wuji, and Zhou Tian were drenched in cold sweat, frantically unleashing their techniques. All three screamed, "Oh no!" Guchanga's eyes flashed red. He waved his hand, and a pink beam sliced through the air as he scoffed, "For insects like you." A rainbow of light erupted, swallowing everything. The pink beam from Guchanga tore through all, reducing everything to dust. The demonic beasts everyone rode went wild, roaring furiously. Their riders tumbled off, faces twisted as if they'd swallowed something vile, foreheads furrowed, sweat pouring. Even the foot soldiers looked on the verge of collapse. Then, with a boom, demonic beasts and riders began dropping like flies, exploding into fiery bursts on impact. Su Qingge and Su Taiwan stood jaw-dropped, eyes nearly popping out. Xiaohua was sweating profusely now. He coughed a few times and turned to Chu Wuji, "Weren't you bragging about taking on a marquee realm cultivator?" Chu Wuji stayed silent, lips sealed. The next second, he spat blood, looking like he'd taken a brutal beating. Zhao Yan rushed to catch him, stammering, who the hell are you?" Guchanga raised a finger and answered, "Limitless longevity." Then he casually added, "A god from the upper realm." Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this recap, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more amazing manhwa stories. See you in the next one.